What is going on, guys? Joey from here with FLEXX Training Systems. I'm going to try to record 2 videos this week. The first is going to be an informative video. I actually missed last week. And today, or last night, when I asked you guys, what do you guys want me to make a video on? A lot of you had questions about how big you should be. Does your height determine your weight class? And things of that nature. So I'm going to try to just provide some feedback here, just what I think and what has worked well for my champions. And you guys can kind of take from that. So first things first, for most of my, champions, aside from like the unlimited weight class, we usually do some kind of weight cut, meaning we are above the class that we wish to compete in. Why am I bringing that up? Well, it's usually a smaller weight cut. For example, if you're an 83 kg, you're going to cut from around 90. If you're a 105 kg, you're going to cut from around 110 at the most. We've done more than that, but I wouldn't really recommend doing too much more. And the reason for that is you want to be bigger than your actual weight class, so you can do some, gut manipulation, water manipulation, mess with your sodium, maybe have the sauna a little bit. You get your weight artificially lower for 2 hours, right, or for that 2-hour weigh-in. And then after that's done, you can actually be heavier than what your weight class is listed as on the platform. This is advantageous for many reasons. Weight moves weight. The more weight you hold as a human, the more weight you're going to be able to move. If you're strong and you're very, very lean, you're going to be even stronger. I don't even know what strength is anymore, but you're going to be able to lift more weight when you're heavier, right? Because again, weight moves weight. A lot of guys, or especially juniors, they will be like 5'10", 5'11", and they're competing in an 83 kg class. Now, to me, this is just this is not how it's going to be long term if you want to be like very, 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 very good at the sport. I don't know any top 93s that are that tall. I just don't. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple exceptions here and there. Maybe like a super deadlift specialist or something. But the reason for that is obviously like a smaller person with more muscle on them is going to probably have better leverage than somebody who is taller and lankier. Now, there are some freakish things. When John Hack was in 83, I mean, he did amazing, and he was about my height, about 5'10", 5'9". He's like 1 in a million. He's like the only guy that's like that. He also has a lot of muscle. And like people genetically can have weird muscle attachments, and they can just, lift weights that don't make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense that somebody with that frame should be able to do stuff like that. It's just the way that it is. I mean, it's very simple to see. Now, that doesn't mean if you're like in your teens or you're a junior, you don't just want to gain weight, but you want to be thinking long-term and how beneficial and even safe, I would say, how much safer it would be for you to be holding a little bit more weight on you as opposed to, being smaller and lighter. Basically being... again, you have to fill out your frame. And if you're 5'10", you're probably going to be, you might go all the way up to, a 120 kg at that height, right? I'd say if you're above that or slightly above that, then you're, like I said, so if you're 5'11 plus, you might be a great super heavyweight or 308 weight class or 275 weight class, right? Those are weight classes that exist. Outside of just IPF weight classes. So it really just depends. And sometimes I make decisions based on, like, for example, I have a lifter. You guys know Big Diesel. He is a solid 308, right? He's very big, but he's like very built, and he's like not a sloppy person, if that makes sense. Like, he's very solid and muscular. 308 is a great weight class for him. It doesn't really make sense for him to go super heavyweight, although I'm sure he could do pretty well in it. Probably top 5, top 3, something like that. But he would be competing against Jesus, who's 380 pounds. You know, a 308, somebody who weighs 315 comfortably, you know, it just doesn't make sense. I wish the IPF had one more weight class, maybe just one more up, like instead of 120, maybe we had also a 135, maybe, I don't know, something like that. That could help. I mean, it's a small percentage of people, but it could help, right? Because, I mean, 265 puts you against someone who's 400 pounds. I mean, I don't know. But the whole thing is, over time, you really want to be filling out your frame, and you don't just want to rush there. You don't just want to like, okay, like Joey says, I have to be bigger. I'm just gonna eat everything I can. You want to be in a caloric surplus, and you want to train and let your body naturally put on good weight. And when it happens and you get to where you need to go, you know, it's gonna take years probably. It's probably gonna take over the course of 1 to 2 years for you to really do that. And that's if like that's your target and you're really trying to gain that weight. I remember with Mikey, when I got him, he was a 93, and we slowly built up to 105, and he was just getting strong like crazy. Like he was literally just PRing left and right, so much to the point where we actually had to really pull him back because he was starting to get little aches and pains because the body was just not used to that level up. You know what I mean? When I was 265-ish, I was lifting weights and moving weights in ways and doing things that I never thought would be ever possible for me as a human. But I don't think I could do those things if I weighed, you know, 93 kg or 90 kg when I first started. You get what I'm saying? And I really didn't unlock my potential and my strength for me personally until I moved up, because I got wider, right? I got to fill out my frame. I got to put more size on my height. And the more that you do that, you're gonna build strength, and it's gonna be fairly easy to do that. What the hell was I gonna say? I know I'm missing a key point here. Oh yes, you guys know Trey Rickard. Trey is pretty tall, and he was competing like I think he competes as like a light 93 right now. He came from the 83s. I've told him like he has all the signs of somebody that if he just fills out his frame, so if he could get up to like, so if he gets up like 200, 210 pounds, something like that, with his frame, he's going to be exponentially stronger. And then we can sit there for a year or two and then see about possibly going 105. It really just depends. It's not something that you should just jump to, but you should have it in the back of your mind and know that, okay, I'm super tall. And it's very simple. Just look at the top 5 in your weight class, right? Look at the top 5. Look at how they're built. Especially if they've been lifting for any kind of amount of years, right? Again, there's always going to be exceptions in anything. So you can't just say, this is the only way that it's going to be, but it will give you a good sort of basis. Just looking at those, just look at those people. And sometimes what happens is you might get, like, for example, the 93s and the 83s, there's not really that much of a height difference. There's like, unless there's like a super good deadlifter that's possibly a little bit taller, most of them are going to be, you know, similar. And then once you get into the 105s, you get into much bigger people. And then, you know, 105s and 120s are kind of similar in terms of height. And of course, slightly taller in the higher weight class. And that's just what it is for weightlifting, right? For lifting the most amount of weight possible. Now, if you look at other sports like the UFC, it benefits you to be as tall as possible and compete in the lightest weight class that you can. All the super tall, lanky guys that are actually tall, like their hips are very, very high, so they're really hard to take down. You know, they can kick you from far away. They can punch you from far away. It's just difficult to fight a person like that. You know, it's different. It's different types of sports. Obviously, basketball, you want to be tall. There's no weight class, though. You know what I mean? In football, if you're playing like a very physical position, everybody in football is jacked. Like, it doesn't even matter. Even if you're fast, you're still jacked. So football is like, you know, like I always say, like, you get fast people that are also very strong. Like, actual, like, freak humans. You know what I mean? So just it depends on the sport. It depends what you're doing. But again, if you are a super tall person, and you're probably underestimating how strong you can get if you actually decide to move up and fully commit. You know, for some people, they're actually not going to benefit too much, and some people, it's like they just unlock a new level of strength, and they just like become relevant in the next weight class up. And sometimes moving up is the best thing to ever happen to someone. I'm thinking of a lifter right now, who was struggling very, very hard as an 83, like very difficult for them to really do anything significant. And then once they moved into the 93s, they instantly shot up to the top 3. You know what I mean? It's just like, the answer is right there. You guys just got to look around, look at who's next to you, look who's in your class, and kind of see where they're at. But yeah, guys, I hope that helps with, figuring out your weight class, how big you should be. I'm a big fan of bulking and cutting. So in the off season, you're going to gain, 5 to 10 pounds and cut, back down, and then make your water cut. And that way, after you've been training for 5 to 10 years, you can still make progress. You can still make gains. And you don't necessarily have to be so inhibited, by like, okay, like I can't gain any weight. Like how am I, you know what I mean? Like when you're actively gaining weight, you gain tons of muscle. You create an anabolic environment. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. So that's all I really wanted to say. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you have any ideas for the next video, let me know. My next video, I would like to, thank you to everyone that came out to the workshop. It was really, really good. I said some stuff in that workshop I've never said publicly. I've never said anywhere. Really good keys and things like that. And I'm just happy that I was able to pull it off right before the meet. I want to do a little recap on the meet. That'll be next. I'll probably get that in towards the weekend. About to go watch Black Panther. My brother's coaching a football game. Got to go to that. So got a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. I was reminded of why I do this over the weekend. I'm so thankful. It was amazing to see you guys, and I can't wait to, dude, I'm telling you guys, like, wait till you see what we do next. It's going to be amazing. All right, later.